Thanks for tuning in to Men for the Win, a podcast hosted by David Kufis and Dan Thompson, two avid fans who appreciate well-played baseball, especially when it's done by the Twins. Men for the Win is sponsored by the Grand Group with Edina Realty. Are you looking to purchase a new home in the Twin Cities area? Or perhaps you're trying to sell your current home? Whether you're upsizing or downsizing, the Grand Group with Edina Realty will meet all of your housing needs. Contact the Grand Group by emailing thegran, that's G-R-A-N, group, at edinarealty.com, or call them by phone at 612-817-8751. The Grand Group with Edina Realty, 7-time Minneapolis-St. Paul Magazine Super Agent Award winners.
Men for the Win is part of the Pulltab Sports Network, covering sports, culture, and entertainment across the Midwest. Check them out at pulltabsports.com and give them a follow on all your social media platforms at Pulltab Sports. On this episode, David and Dan recap the Twins' 4-game series against the Chicago White Sox. Thanks for listening. Enjoy. Thanks for tuning in to Men for the Win. My name is David Kufis. With me, as always, is Dan Thompson. The Twins play host to the mighty Chicago White Sox for a 4-game series at Target Field. Nobody went. The Twins played as if they didn't themselves go. They lost all 4, and we were just talking about this, Dan. This was the first time that the White Sox have swept the Twins in a 4-game series at home ever.
Yeah, when did the Vikings start? Is that that's on Monday? Is that what that is? My goodness, this was not a great showing in so many ways. And yet, they scored a lot of runs. They scored enough runs to win a game or two here, but we'll talk about the bullpen not being there. Now, David, you mentioned that people weren't there. There were some dogs there in game 2, right? It was Bark at the Park night.
Yes, Dan, I usually don't care to see the fans, right? That doesn't interest me at all to see the people in the stands for the most part. And I'm not a pet person, honestly. No. We didn't have pets growing up. I don't have pets now. My wife's not really a pet person. I don't dislike them, but I'm never going to own one. If I have anything to say about it, never going to happen. But what I'll say is looking at cute animals on the screen during a terrible baseball game can only help the cause. And they only did 4 cutaways, it felt like, the entire game.
Yeah, that's poor camera work. But we've been complaining about the camera work, I think, at Target Field pretty much all season. So
yes,
par for the course, I suppose. Gosh, there were.
I thought you were going to say pause for the course. Damn.
Oh, that would have been so much better.
It's like a pun. It's a play on words.
Dang it. Now you threw me off. I was going to say, I think they had the smallest September crowd ever you can find. There's lots of stats about this. Yeah, so I really think now that the Vikings are playing, people are totally checked out on this Twins team. And yet I don't think that they totally checked out themselves, David. I'm not ready to say that about this baseball team.
I'm pretty scared.
I thought you might be.
I think as far as the people at the stadium tonight, more people were watching the Cowboys-Eagles on their phone, Dan, than were watching the product on the field, I think. But
I also, didn't Hogue say that he has lots of money he still has to spend on tickets here?
$1,200 left that he has to spend before the season's over. And I'm I guess you go to the Yankee games because you actually get to see some baseball that's interesting. Sure. I'm going to go to the Diamondbacks game. I'm going to go. It's just sad, Dan, looking at the rest of the series. We'll see what happens, I suppose.
All right, well, let's go into this here, the series recap.
Series recap.
Well, and I do want to say it's 11:45 at night, folks. I didn't want to be recording. I didn't want to do the show at all tonight. And I'm thinking, okay,
I can at least go to bed.
It must go on, Dan. And then they get delayed. Why they played this game is beyond me. But anyway, game 1, Twins lose this one. Get ready to hear that quite a bit here, folks. So Twins lose this one 6-5. Bailey Ober with another rough outing. 5 innings pitched, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, 2 homers. The 2 homers given up in the third put the Sox up 3-0 early, and then the second one to Meatroth was on an 0-2 curveball middle in, Dan. Come on, Bailey. But anyway, bottom second here. Twins have a chance to put up a big number. 2 outs, bases loaded. Buxton walks on just some terrible pitching, which I understand I wouldn't want to pitch to Buxton either. But so he scores a run, and then Jeffers goes down on strikes to end the inning. Bottom fourth, though, the Twins get another run back following a Buxton double. Then Buxton advances to third on a wild pitch, and then he scores on an overthrow by Teal. To be honest, Dan, that may have been the most exciting play of the entire series.
Well, no, he had some extra base hits later that were exciting too. Top of the 5th, the White Sox score another run. It's 4-2 at that point. Bottom of the 6th, Royce Lewis with a solo shot brings the Twins within 1. And that Eddie Julian, remember him, he doubles. Deshaun Kersey pinch runs for him, steals third, and then scores on a Buxton sac fly. Playing small ball, David, when it matters here to tie the game at 4.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
it doesn't, Dan. Bottom seventh, Twins take the lead. Matt Wallner doubles. Austin Martin pinch runs. Keishel grounds out. Larnach flies out. But then Lee comes up, Dan, with the big single RBI.
My back!
But now it's top of the eighth. The Twins' lack of bullpen gets exposed,
No.
which again is a pretty
really?
common
Man.
Topa enters. The big arm that Dan said they bring in to shut the door.
I didn't say that.
Single.
I didn't say that. He's just the guy that they have in that situation.
It was 2 quick outs and then a double to tie it to Baldwin, followed by another double by Tauschman to take the lead. Momentum's gone, and the Twins go down easy in the 8th and the 9th. Dan, at this point, you're like, okay, I understand we're going to lose games because of the lack of the bullpen, but it's the freaking White Sox, Dan.
I don't think we can say that. I think it's the freaking Twins, I think, is where the other teams are saying that too. Game 2, we can be quicker here. The White Sox win this one 12-3. Now, another one, though, I do say, if a couple plays go differently here and the 5 bullpen guys weren't traded, then I think that they can probably win this game. So SWR goes 5 innings and only allows 3 runs, but there were the 2 in the 5th were totally on him. His own error trying to throw the ball to second makes a mess. I know a baseball bat was coming at him, and I get that that's a lot of flying objects to keep track of, but man, just slow down and make the throw to first if you need to. It's 3-3 at that point. And then Thomas Hatch comes in. I sang his praises. It was a whole segment about how I thought Thomas Hatch could have a role on this team.
It's not that hard, Scott.
It was really...
It's incredibly hard.
It was really hard, apparently, for Thomas Hatch to get out of this game. 2 innings pitched, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 strikeouts. And then Noah Davis, who you can find lots of very interesting commentary out there about Noah Davis still being on the baseball team. But he follows with an inning and 3 earned. Like, I feel like that's what we say. That's like the menu that you get when you bring Noah Davis onto baseball. Buxton did hit a triple, so that was fun. But otherwise, this game is pretty unmentionable, David.
Noah Davis for the Twins, Dan, has given up almost as many home runs as he's gotten outs.
It's incredible that he still has a job. And yeah, we're going to talk more about that a little bit later. And then there's game 3. David, how about you take us through this one?
So Zebby actually has a great outing. This is a pretty nice bright spot in this series. 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Twins get on the board early here. Bottom of the first, Larnach singles, Keishel with an RBI double, and then Keishel actually scores on a throwing error, which it's nice to know that the Twins aren't the only ones playing terrible baseball. So the Twins are up 2 at this point. Top of the second, Zebby gives up his only run on a solo shot. So Twins have a chance with the bases loaded and 2 outs, but Austin Martin grounds out here. And then the bottom of the 6th, the Twins get 1 on a Royce Lewis single. So the Twins are up 3-1. And then we head into the 9th inning, and we're going to talk more about that later because that 9th inning was a mess. Twins lose this one 4-3. That's the bottom line of how this one ends. We'll talk through it later. Take us through game 4, Dan.
Yeah, so game 4, the White Sox win this one eventually 11-8. There's an hour and a half rain delay, and I think everybody's thinking, we don't have to play this baseball game, right? But they play it. Aside from allowing the 3 runs in the 3rd and 1 in the 5th, Taj Bradley actually has a pretty effective start here. Much better than, I guess, he's always going to be linked to Mick Abel, so anytime he doesn't give up more runs than innings pitched, I guess it's a pretty good start. Bottom of the 4th with 2 on and 2 out, the Twins get 4 straight singles, actually, to score 5 runs to storm back, take a 5-3 lead. And after that White Sox run in the 5th, Matt Wallner homers in the bottom of the 5th. I believe it was his 50th career home run to make it 6-4. Bottom of the 6th, Mickey Gasper has an RBI ground out to first, makes it 7-4, his 3rd RBI of the game. Then the 7th happens, and Travis Adams, another dispensable bullpen arm, comes in, and he has a lead, and he gives up 2 singles in the game-tying home run, and then hits a batter for good measure. So Cabrera comes in, another dispensable arm in the bullpen, hits a batter again, just, to match his buddy, Travis Adams here, gets a couple outs, including a run-scoring sac fly, and then apparently it looked like he had the 3rd out to get out of the inning, only down 8-7, but then he balked, apparently, and so then the runner who was at 3rd was allowed to score, so it's 9-7, so then the Twins are down 2, and then, anyway, somewhere in there as well, Ryan Jeffers left the game. He was hit, apparently, with some ricocheted baseballs. We hope he's okay, so there's that. There's a couple more runs here. Cody Clemens hits a home run in the bottom of the 9th that's meaningless, and there you go. It's 11-8.
Dan, as I was walking out of my office today, I felt it, Dan. I could smell it in the air. Minnesota fall is here. I could tell. I know it's early September, but man, the temperatures have dropped. And sometimes, Dan, life can have a meaningless feeling when you can't be out on that boat anymore for the season. But let me tell you, something you can do. You buy something new now. Well, you got this great discount code from Min for the Win and Pulltab Sports. You put it in the garage, and next season when you come out, You're going to be so happy because you forgot that you bought this because you didn't get to use it. And what I would say, Dan, is get some fresh life jackets, right? Like, you know that on your boat, you got those orange life jackets and they're bad. They're just there in case the sheriff shows up. But here's the deal. You're the captain of your vessel, Dan. It's time to take charge and take care of the people that you're with safe, high-quality life jackets for all. It's 2025, folks, and that means it's time to say goodbye to the old orange life jackets that probably don't even float. So upgrade your life jackets at ravesports.com. You'll find value, great deals, and the sheriff will be proud of you. And if you use promo code PULLTAB, it's 20% off your order. I'm telling you, Dan, you'll be so happy with yourself. Next season, first time out on the boat. But Rave Sports, make waves.
Catch 'em all, Kirby Puckett!
Puckett's Picks winner.
I got to hand it to you here, David. In the 11th hour, quite literally here, the 23rd hour military time, you get the win, actually. So Luke Keyshaw was your pick, who had 9 points. The listeners had Buxton, who had 9 as well. You win the tiebreak because Keyshaw had fewer strikeouts. Buxton struck out 4 times, and Keyshaw struck out twice. Royce Lewis was looking like he was going to be in on this, but he had 8 points. He had a couple strikeouts here in game 4. I picked Martin, who ended up with 3 points. So I do not get the win, but you do, David. You get the bonus point as well. And so you have 12.5 now. You're still in third place. Hogs is in second with 15. Listeners are in fourth with 10.5. And I still have my lead at 16.5. David, I'm hanging on.
It's getting close here, Dan, but my guy Keishel really came through for me.
I have magic hair that glows when I sing.
Beast versus Bench.
Is losing fun? Is losing fun?
I will go with Buxton. He had the 3 extra base hits. He didn't play in game 4, and who could blame him, right? I mean, give the guy some days off here. I do appreciate that and I really do think the position guys especially, I think they're all playing with heart. I think you have to play for the love of the game at this point.
Yes,
but there's just not the talent in the back end here, and so that's who I picked.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to give it to Lewis, but like he really didn't show up in game 4 here. So he was 4 for 8 and 2 stolen bases in his first 3 games here, but nowhere in game 4. I got to give it to Zebby. He was taking advantage of the opportunity that's given him. I mean, he has to win one of the 5 available starting pitcher slots for next season, Dan.
And I think he probably has a good shot at it. As for my bench, I kind of alluded to this. I'm going with the bullpen. They threw 15 innings in this 4-game series. They allowed 21 runs. If they have, I don't know, you cut that in half, this is easily a split for the Twins. It's just what a remarkable show of ineptitude.
It's impressive, Dan. I think that when the Pohleds were making those trades at the deadline, do you think they laughed a little bit to be like, man, this is going to get real bad real fast?
Well, yeah. Well, one of the guys they acquired is on your bench.
Yeah, I'm going to go with James Outman, who is that namesake, I guess. 0 for 11 with 4 strikeouts. I guess he can play center field pretty well, but to imagine that he's supposed to be the primary backup to Buxton next season, the only way he's the primary backup to Buxton next season is if the Pohleds do exactly what we think they're going to do. So I guess it's possible, but clearly the team needs to bring in somebody a little bit more skilled with the bat in order to back up Buxton. Let's go here, Dan. Rocco's Rewind.
Rocco's Rewind.
This is going to feel like a backhanded compliment. I do think it's a credit to Rocco that he's not really trying to win these games artificially. Like he's not making too many extra moves. Now he is. I will grant, I mean, he's actually using pinch runners quite a bit.
Hang on a minute. We could use a pinch.
In moments that make more sense than when he brings like Ryan Fitzgerald in for Brookslee. I mean, like that one maddens me, but these moments kind of made sense. But you have to use the pitchers that you've got. And so he's doing that. They're just not talented enough. It's like if you could upgrade all of them by like, I don't know, 20 percentage points or something like that, you'd probably have a good bullpen, but they're operating at that like 80%. And this is not talent wise, like this is not a bullpen. This is not a major league bullpen.
60% of the time it works every time.
Dan, 20% isn't nearly enough. I gotta be honest. I mean, it's not close. I think you need a 50% improvement, and then maybe they get a split out of this series. Like
maybe.
No, 20% is not enough. But here's my thing, Dan. Do you think Rocco was annoyed with the September call-ups, or does he get some say in this? Like, you have to think he's thinking, okay, well, maybe they'll do something interesting and they'll bring up this Connor Prelip guy or Aaron Sabato, who's been crushing at AAA, or Carson McCusker. We could actually give him some extended looks at the major league level and see if he's just fluky and really good at AAA or if he can hit the ball. And they're like, no, we're actually going to give you Noah Davis, Deshaun Kersey Jr. I don't know, maybe throw Ryan Fitzgerald up there to like just make it work. Honestly, bring up Jose Miranda. Like, throw him out here and just see if he figured it out somehow. Even if he's not playing well at AAA, I don't care. But do you think Rocco is like, he got the names and he's like, really? This is like guys, this is going to be bad baseball anyway. Do we really care? Like, let's give these guys a chance.
This has to be a 40-man roster issue, but surely there are guys you can cut bait with right now off of that 40-man roster. I agree with you on Outman. I don't think Outman's got a spot on the. You can't tell me he's any better than Deshaun Kersey Jr. So keep Kersey Jr. on the 40-man. You can cut Outman and cut bait there. But yes, I agree with you. Sabato should be up and getting a chance here. They need Mickey Gasper now to play catcher, so they can't really get rid of Mickey, especially if Jeffers is maybe going to be here. This is. Yeah, I would be annoyed too if I'm Rocco.
I sort of wanted him to bring up Wally. Like, who cares, man?
Totally, right?
20 years old. That might be the only thing that would get people back to the stadium. But if Dan Hayes tweeted out tomorrow, Twins call up 20-year-old phenom Walker Jenkins to the majors, I will buy tickets that morning to go if I didn't have them already. Because I would be so excited, even if he struck out 5 times with it. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to be there to see that. It'd be something. It would give me something to have hope for, Dan.
Minnesota moment.
The specific one to me is Game 3 in the 9th inning. You can't script a worse scenario here. All right, so the Twins are up 3-1 headed into the 9th, and it's almost like having guys in the bullpen matters here, right? Funderburk comes in, gets a quick out, Caro singles, Benintendi walks, so then they bring in Topa, like that's going to be better. He strikes out me.
He's like also, we need to correct this because you did call him that. You were being a little bit facetious because you were saying that you have to keep your big arms for when you need them. And I think you said like they nailed the door shut or something. Well,
he's the biggest arm
I'm not sure. I think you were being pretty sarcastic, but it was still just funny. I do like to think that you think Topa is like a really good closer or something.
Well, okay, so but in any case, like, all right, you got a couple guys on, but you got 2 outs here and you're still up 2. But then he gives up an RBI single to Baldwin, so the Sox are down 1. Baldwin steals second, so you got runners at second and third. And then, of course, Michaela Taylor comes up to the plate. Topa has him down 0-2. 2 balls he throws, and then a sweeper in your favorite spot, middle. And then Taylor hits a 2 RBI double down left field line, and the Sox are up 4-3. And then in the bottom of the 9th, the Twins get a couple guys on with nobody out and don't do anything with it.
Nothing.
It's just like, gentlemen, hey, take care of business here.
Please attempt to be a gentleman.
I tell you.
Can't be done, Dan.
No.
Okay, overarching for me here, Dan. Getting swept in a 4-game series by the White Sox. They are 53-88. And 4-game sweeps, Dan, 4-game sweeps don't happen. Even when the best team in baseball plays the worst team in baseball, chances that they win all 4 are almost never. That just doesn't happen. To win 4 games in a row is very, very difficult to do and a rarity. It's rare to sweep a 3-game series. You lost 4 games to the White Sox. I don't even know how you do that. It's one of those things like where you see your kid do something and it's like it goes beyond how old they are, like what they managed to accomplish. And it's like, you shouldn't. I don't understand how this is even possible for you.
Ogres are like onions.
It does. The mathematical argument is very strong right there. Like you shouldn't be able to sweep a team in a 4-0 series in this situation. The White Sox weren't playing particularly well. By the way, now my buddy Bill, the Padres fan, is worried because the White Sox are playing the Padres next. And I want to say, Bill, you do not need to be worried here.
Tell Bill in the same way that he was worried about Taj Bradley. Don't worry about it, man. Don't even, you sleep well tonight, Bill. Trust me. So the other note I want to make, I'm bummed about this. So our guy, Dan, Louis Varland, he got traded to the Blue Jays. And no, don't praise the Twins for this move, but it's been a rough go. For Louis. Canada. Yeah, maybe it's the water. Maybe the syrup is just too authentic for Louis and he needs his Aunt Jemima, here at home. An ERA of 6 in August. And he got rocked yesterday in Cincinnati. He has not really had a good outing, Dan, since he left the Twins, which is a little bit embarrassing.
Well, that's kind of the case for all the guys after they left the Twins, except for Duran. You can find the tweets about it. I mean, they've basically all been bad.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on here to the musings.
I just don't know how it can get any better.
Mauer's musings.
So, should there be coaching changes this offseason?
I don't think it matters. I just the thing is, no, I don't know why you would at this point. Like, if you didn't fire him midseason, what's the point? your hitting coaches are your hitting coaches, your pitching coaches are your pitching coaches. So much of this right now, Dan, is going to come on to the talent that's even possible out of the guys on the field. I don't know if it matters who the coaches are.
Yeah, I think the way the bullpen is, especially right now, I think the only reason that I would maybe argue you could is if you do think that you've got some guys like Wally Jenkins, like Luke Keyshaw, Royce Lewis, who maybe could benefit from some new voices when they're really at this key moment in their development. I could see, hey, do you bring in a guy, but they're not going to pay the money that it would take to bring in a manager like a Joe Madden or something like that. So
no,
so I don't see that happening. What do you got?
Yeah, so actually segues really well because Trevor Plouffe on the Score North Twins show, he talked about how the Twins need to change their image pretty desperately. And one thing he said is you could bring back those guys who are still thought of really highly who by Twins fans. And he had said, I guess there was a falling out between Torrey Hunter and the front office. And he didn't give any specifics about it. But that's sort of interesting to know that, like, Hunter's a special assistant with the Angels, I guess. And normally, those sort of titles, I don't know exactly what that means. But, like, it's sort of crazy to me. Torrey Hunter, I think most people, think of as a Twin. Maybe I'm biased, obviously, as a Twins fan. But not really the point I'm trying to make here. But what Plouffe was trying to say is that the Pohlads should come out and at least acknowledge that, like, their fan base is hurting. And so my question to you, Dan, is if Joe Pohlad came out and he said, here's the thing, we don't think the guys that we had were going to be able to get it done. And we think rebuilding is the best move at this stage because the roster wasn't going to be able to compete in the postseason. And yeah, it's going to be a long couple seasons while we get things sorted out and sort of see what we have in these young guys. But we are planning to come back and we are planning to compete. We're just not there right now. And this is sort of the growing pains we have to do that. If they acknowledge at least what they've done, like, I know these trades hurt, but it's just the best move we can make at this point, would that help them in your view? Like, would you be more willing to be less harsh about the Pohlads and less filled with vitriol, if I have been the last couple episodes, if they did that?
Yes, but the holdup is we've been down this road before with the rebuild, and there were many moments where they still let guys walk, and this dates back to it obviously older generations of the Pohlads, but you let other guys leave. Now at the same time, they did sign Joe Mauer to a contract when he was I'm trying to think of other guys that they signed Buxton. They did go out and sign Correa. Like, they have been willing to invest that money. I would feel better if they said all those things and they also gave Joe Ryan a contract. We're very public about investing some money in some of these guys, because then I would say, okay, yeah, I can see that being part of the plan, because it's not the wrong strategy right now. And I can totally buy the idea, that Carlos Correa just wasn't a guy that was going to work out well.
Why are you so obsessed with me?
And that's okay. So yeah, tear it down, rebuild it. They're stealing bases. They're playing more fun baseball now. Like, there's an argument to be made that they will be better next season. I've been making it for the last couple of episodes.
I want to build a championship culture.
Exactly. It didn't work. He didn't build it. He tried to build it and it didn't come. Right. So that's what happened.
I do love what you said there, though, with the idea of them signing a guy who let's say the Twins aren't going to compete in 26 and then we're locked out in 27 and then there's a new season in 28. If you sign Joe Ryan to a 5-year extension where you're going to get 2 years of Joe Ryan in his prime at the end of that contract, when maybe Keyshaw has established himself, Royce is sort of an aged veteran at that point who's maybe hitting a little bit more consistency. Buxton's probably a right fielder, but maybe he's still hitting the ball with some power and maybe he's DHing some. You can see a path here. Yeah, if they make a commitment to some of these younger pitchers who could be very, very successful, it'd be an easier pill to swallow. I love that you brought that up, because I do think that's probably the linchpin for me to come back a little bit to be willing to support the team.
All right, well, let's grade this series against the White Sox. Do we have to?
Series grades.
Dan, I don't know what else you could do to prove how bad your team is than getting swept in a 4-game series at home against the White Sox. Like, if you said, like, when you're out with your buddy and you're like making jokes and like, you're like, oh, well, prove it. There's nothing more you could do. Like, if you're trying to one up each other, like, well, my team, we lost 2 of 3 to the Rockies. You know, that's
they did
pretty
that too,
good.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good. My team got swept in a 4-game series at home by the White Sox. Like that's the trump card, right? That's the never have I ever. That's the drink if you haven't, that sort of thing. That's the one that'll get them, Dan.
Yeah. So it's an F. Is that your grade for this series?
Sorry, I didn't realize I had to say it out loud. Yes.
Sometimes you just gotta
for
say
posterity's sake, just to make sure when the aliens are re-listening to this years from now, they'll know that they can track it. Yeah.
Mine is -2, well, actually maybe a 0 for the decision making.
Because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, -2 for the older guys. And we'll call it a 0. It doesn't, all of this math, I have a buffer right in my rubric where I can give them some points and they still fail. So it's an F.
Okay.
But hey, if you're getting an F also in your internet speed, I've got a different F for you. Gateway Fiber. That's the one you want. Listen up, Minnesota. There's a new high-speed internet sheriff in town. It's Gateway Fiber. And they've landed in Blaine, Brooklyn Park, Champlain, Coon Rapids, Maple Grove, and Plymouth with plans to expand deeper into Minnesota. Gateway Fiber boasts a fiber optic network that exceeds the capabilities of some of the biggest players in the business, which gives you more whiz for less cost for all your online working, streaming, and gaming. With no hidden fees, no data caps, and no installation fees, Gateway Fiber is a perfect thing for your home or business. So go to Gateway Fiber to get fast, reliable, and affordable high-speed fiber internet.
I don't know, Jack. It looked like Herbeck pulled him off the bag.
Herbie's headlines.
I want to start here, Dan. This is fascinating. 2 teams that nobody likes. It's the Yankees and the Astros. They're in Houston, and Framer's on the mound, and he gives up a grand slam. It's important to note what happened here, Dan. This is a AAA catcher who has gotten called up simply because the 2 catchers in front of him are injured, okay? Bases loaded, big moment in the game, and the AAA catcher clearly sees there's something wrong about either the pitch they've called or like how he's set up or they're not communicating well. Before Framer throws the pitch, he waves to Framer to like back off, to step off the mound, right? To reset. And Framer throws the pitch anyway and gives up a grand slam. And it's not a good pitch. And then Framer thinks, in Framer's mind, I'm speculating a little bit. John Boy has a breakdown of this. He did it almost immediately because it's the craziest thing I've seen on the baseball field in a while. So what happens here then is the grand slam gets given up on a not great pitch. The next pitch, Framer intentionally throws a ball that was not called by the catcher, a fastball at his catcher. He said he didn't do it. There's no way. You cannot watch this happen. The reaction of the catcher, the reaction of Framer, you can't watch this and think that wasn't intentional. And honestly, Dan, I understand getting upset about things, but that is embarrassing as a grown man to do something that honestly could be considered assault. Like, I realize we're playing baseball, but dear goodness, you intentionally made your catcher believe you're going to throw something else, a different type of pitch too, right? Because if it was a curveball that went off, he'd still be able to adjust, right? And like at least get himself out of the way. This is sad, Dan.
Yeah, it's kind of like that joke, like, hey, look, what on earth could that be? And then you punch a guy in the face. Like, that's basically what he did, but with a baseball.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're denying it, obviously, and because that's what are you going to do? How do you explain that if it's true? I mean, from a public relations standpoint.
Yeah, nothing can be done here. Then Ohtani, Hogs his guy, money, hits his 100th homer as a Dodger. It's his hardest hit ball ever at 120 miles an hour, which is pretty nuts. And then another weird one here. Trevor Story for the Red Sox. They're playing the Guardians at Fenway. He hits a ball deep to right field. And what's happening here is Big Christmas, Dan. He's tracking the ball, okay? And he reaches over the short wall in front of the pesky pole, but the ball hits his glove, and then he sort of runs into the pesky pole, and the ball hits the pole, then hits his glove again, and then hits a fan. And at first it's ruled a foul ball, and then maybe a ground rule double, but then the replay comes out, it's a home run because the ball hit the pole after it hit Big Christmas's glove. And it's a very weird play. You have to watch the replay several times to follow what happened. But this is my favorite quote from Big Christmas. He says, "I was trying to catch the ball and I felt like I ran into a kid. I had it in my glove, but then when I hit the kid, that's when I felt the ball come out of my glove. How tough is this outfield?" I got a little upset about the play because I know, okay, maybe the ruling was that way, but I don't think that should have been a homer. Maybe a double because of the situation, but not a homer. Dan, that quote, I think, Had I told you if it was from an episode of Men for the Win, you would have believed me. I think you would have believed me because that's exactly how we talk. Like, it should have just been this. Like, of course it should have been that. We're right about this. It should be that.
Common sense should prevail here for Jackenzie Noel. You keep calling him Big Christmas. That's his real name.
It's the best nickname in baseball.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely. All right. Well, let's go forward here. There's another couple baseball series. The Royals are next for the Twins.
And we'll see you tomorrow night.
Puckett's Picks.
We should say that Pablo Lopez is going to start on Friday. So good on him for wanting to come back to this team. Followed by Joe Ryan and Bailey Ober. So this really sets up well for the bullpen to blow the next 3 games, David, in Kansas City, I think. Also, we should mention
Festa.
Yeah, exactly. So David Festa is going to be shut down for the rest of the year due to a shoulder strain. It's good thing the Twins have 9 other starting pitchers. And at least they'll be okay for this year.
Listeners are taking Buxton. Then it goes to, does it go to you?
It goes to me. I'm going to take Keishel.
Yeah, not shocking. Hogs is going to take Lewis.
Good luck.
Wow. I guess I'm going to go with the feast or famine of Matt Wallner.
There
James Thompson.
Go. Yes, but a very cute moose. Make all the boy moose go. Wah!
All right, David. Well, thank you, listeners, for sticking with us here. David, would you go ahead and send us out?
I will. Yeah, sincerely. Thank you. Sorry about this baseball team. Well, folks, if you like what you hear, please tell a friend. You can follow us on X at Men for the Win and find our Men for the Win Facebook and Instagram pages. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform so that you're notified when new episodes are available. And if you could leave us a rating or like, we greatly appreciate it. If you'd like to support the show further, you can find us on Patreon. The link is in the description. Thanks for listening. And as always, trying their best. Go Twins.
That'll wrap up another episode of Men for the Win, a podcast hosted by David Kufis and Dan Thompson, 2 avid fans who appreciate well-played baseball, especially when it's done by the Twins. Thanks so much for listening, and as always, go Twins.